Alright, for my management project, I will be discussing American investment into the nation of Croatia. Most specifically, bringing Starkist fish products over to Croatia and then expanding and targeting into Japanese markets. As an introduction, I was born in America. I am from Buffalo, New York. Overall, my experience with multiple cultures, I think, is very great and better than like what most Americans have experienced. I come from Macedonian descent, and my mother's side, more specifically, still holds true to those cultural values. We still have much of our family live in Macedonia, but as well as still very much using the culture, such as the language. So growing up at a young age, seeing the language being spoken around me was a great experience. But as well with my sister, she is a French major and is fluent in French. Spent years of time away living in France and in Belgium, which again, being that there's an 8-year difference between us, being very young, she was able to show me like different parts of the world and give me an experience that others were not seeing. Um, Overall, though, the Republic of Croatia is a parliamentary democracy. It declared its independence from Yugoslavia June 25th, 1991. They, most importantly, is that they recently have been admitted into the European Union. Was on July 1st of 2013. However, they do not use the euro yet. They're still using their own currency, which is known as kuna. Um, Croatia has been a nation still is well the wealthiest of the former Yugoslavian republics. But since the war in the Balkans that lasted from 91 to 95, they definitely took a significant hit because of it. However, they have been recovering much better than the original Yugoslavian countries because they have a great tourist industry, as a lot of people want to travel to that specific area because what they're known for is they preserve a lot of their culture, but most importantly, they have strict environmental laws that make Croatia some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. However, due to the abrupt slowdown of the economy in 2008 from the U.S. financial crisis, they have been taken hit and still have difficult problems in trying to come out of that. One of their biggest problems is that they have high unemployment with 18%, and um, they have widespread corruption. Being that as well, the government owns about 51% of the economy, and with this high corruption, it really has been made difficult for this country, which is based heavily on its tourist industry, to further grow. However, what I've been looking to for this global project is looking at what they do right and being able to get the benefit out of it. But like some important things I need to know before you decide to conduct business in this nation is that they are a nation that takes pride in their religion as well as their culture. Croatians are primarily Roman Catholic because the Catholic Church has a very prominent role in their culture. Ever since the fall of communism, they've only gotten more popular. But most importantly, remember, is the church has founded many of their educational facilities, which are still, and then the government still provides resources to keep these educational facilities going. What else is very important is that they're very nationalistic, and due to their history of foreign invasion, and they take strong pride into their national team, such as their soccer team. Um, However, while they have been suffering from a decrease in their population, um, they have welcomed foreign investment as well as immigrants coming into their country in order to increase that. But in a more personal level, Croatians believe that family is the basis of social structure. They make sure business never interferes with family time, more specifically on the weekends. But more so for business, proper etiquette is very important. More specifically in what you're talking about. Proper etiquette for them is much like how it's done in America. Firm handshake. They tend to be straightforward when they talk about most things. If someone doesn't like you or disagree with you, it can easily be read. Um, but the big thing is you must avoid making comparisons between Croatians with Serbians or Bosnians. They take that as a great insult, being that they are all formerly part of Yugoslavia and they still have many differences in opinions, especially with long-standing conflicts that have not been addressed ever since the fighting has stopped. So important things is, of course, showing someone the middle finger is considered rude or a threat, or waving a pointed index finger or pointing at someone who is considered rude as well. It's best to use the whole hand or nod in the direction of the person. Uh, raising most a great point to bring up is that raising a thumb, index, and middle finger like this once is a Serbian gesture and is connected to Serbian nationalism. You must avoid this at all costs, especially when you're ordering or asking for things in forms of three. Um, Once again, anything in relation to the Serbian culture, avoid doing at all costs because any business deal will cease to exist at that point. Uh, Being late in most situations is not usually considered rude. People are often late, being that their civilization is a lot is run through buses and trains. So people find that if you're 15 minutes late, it's still acceptable. But mostly in business situations, people tend to be more aware of the clock. But deadlines are often not met. Direct eye contact is expected and appreciated. When you avoid eye contact, is usually regarded as a sign that you do not care for that person, so you gotta watch out for that. But more so on my strategic plan is since Croatia is still recovering from the 2008 financial crisis that has affected the whole entire world, um, my idea is bring Starkist fish over to Croatia in order to start fishing in their pristine waters off the Mediterranean, specifically for what my research has done, what they have a high population in is bluefin fish. Um, but another great point about that is where there's strong need for that type of fish is in countries like Japan. Japan most recently has sustained a huge hit to their fish markets due to the Fukushima nuclear disaster, where there's been about 700 tons of radioactive wastewater being leaked into the Pacific and compromising much of the fishing that is done in Asia. I believe that if we target this industry and begin producing this fish, being that Croatia has strict environmental laws on its waters, you could sell this fish as a high quality luxury product and sell it to nations such as Japan. Not only would it provide jobs in Croatia and help win over the government, but another thing that you can do is market this fish with almost nationalistic symbols on it, almost to give Croatia itself an identity, something that they can be proud of, something that they will actively market and jump on board with, and help make sure that you are successful in their nation. And as well as then in Japan, you have high incomes there, but as well a high demand for this high quality fish. And soon, hope as this radiation continues to spread, you can market elsewhere. Um, but overall, that is my initial plan. Most importantly, as we market it, it's important to market it with giving Croatia itself a national identity in order to win over government support, which, like I said before, controls 51% of the industry. Thanks again.